those little through balls that they're trying to play, Blackburn have read the situation pretty well. Lenihan this time working his way across to that right-hand side, just getting a foot in and just trying to clear his lines.
Not sure whether someone's having a bonfire outside this football ground. There seems to be embers of something drifting onto the pitch. Here's a chance for Charlie Austin. Oh, that's a brilliant save by Walton. Slid into him, kept it out with his knees. Charlie Austin, perhaps the third time in this first half. Can't believe that he didn't do better with the situation. West Brom completely exposed the Blackburn defence there, and it was left at the mercy of the Blackburn keeper Christian Walton, but he dealt with it perfectly.
And it all starts from Blackburn players not clearing the lines properly. They work into Charlie Austin into that 18-yard box. He just basically toe punts it. And again, it's a super save from Christian Walton, but he has to have a word with his defenders to help him out a little bit more.
Romain Sawyer to Pereira, left of the box. He tried to blast it in from a very tight angle and instead hits the side netting.
Bit of a shot cross, really, from Pereira there. I think the angle was very tight. I think he was actually trying to pull it across the 6-yard area with a lot of pace on it. Got his cross completely wrong, so it basically looked more like a shot, but it was never going to threaten Walton in that Blackburn goal.
36 minutes played. How do you weigh this one up, what we've seen so far, Mickey? Great.
A very good start from Blackburn, and again, you know, the best opportunity for them has come from Adam Armstrong, who picks up the ball now on the left-hand side. But yeah, they've let West Bromwich Albion into the game, and they've started to create opportunities and look more of a threat going forward.
It's Adam Armstrong, main goal scorer for Blackburn Rovers this season. Of course, they're missing a huge part of the machine, our Blackburn Rovers, in terms of Bradley Dack. Picked up that ACL in the goalless draw with Wigan in December. He's looking at September for a return. So they've had to contend with that. And when that happens, you do expect others to start weighing in, but it hasn't really been the case for Blackburn.
It's just been Adam Armstrong, really, hasn't it? I think you'd expect more goals from Danny Graham. It was nice to see Bradley actually walked up the steps before we kicked off and give me a little bit of a tap on the shoulder, so someone remembers me, Steve. But no, he's a huge deficit in this Blackburn team. I mean, the quality that he's got, the goals that he brings to the side, and he just gives everybody that little bit of a spark, doesn't he? So the sooner he can get himself back, the better it is for Blackburn Rovers. And I think the break's obviously done him at the world of good, because it'll give him that time to recover and heal and get himself ready for what looks like probably next season now, doesn't it?
You've got to hand it to Tony Mowbray. He's made Blackburn Rovers part of the conversation again. It wasn't that long since they were in League One.
Yeah,
you know, that the bottom had fallen out of the club, and as he's done with most other clubs he's been at, yes, he has done a sensational job with a mix of young talent and some more hardened veterans.
Yeah, absolutely. He has to take a lot of credit, Tony, and whenever you speak to the players, I think everybody seems to be on his side. They love the training sessions. David Dunn, who's obviously just taken up a managerial post, who's been working at Blackburn, loved his time and said he was a very approachable guy, very nice guy, down to earth, but loved his football and sessions and his philosophy, and I think that's why it bounces off to the players in the football that you've seen over the last couple of seasons from them.
It's TalkSport 2 exclusive commentary from Ewood Park as Stuart Downing puts a ball in towards the West Bromwich Albion penalty area, but it rolls right the way through for a goal kick to Sam Johnson in the West Brom goal. And goalless so far. Perhaps a surprise, definitely a surprise for Charlie Austin. He'll reflect on 3 opportunities so far. You talked about Adam Armstrong at the other end. I think Charlie Austin, given his goal-scoring quality, the number he's scored this season, 11, and maybe the vein of form he's in as well, he realises West Brom should perhaps have the lead in the game.
Yeah, I think overall opportunities, you talk about the Armstrong one being the best for Blackburn. I think apart from that, they've struggled, but there's no doubt Charlie Austin, it normally takes him 1 or 2 opportunities to find the back of the net. Will he get any better than the 2 that he's had?
It's going to be headed away by Carl Bartley, and now it will end up in the hands of his goalkeeper Sam Johnston, who looks to maybe get one out early, and then he just sees as a threat or two about Armstrong preventing the pass out to the right side for Dara O'Shea. Instead he'll allow Ajayi to deliver it to O'Shea with his feet. Now a long ball up towards Mateus Pereira, who's stayed onside. He's being tracked by Adarabioyo, played back into Charlie Austin. Gotta be for West Brom, and it is, and it's Kravinovic. And they were patient, and the ball was lofted to him on the far left side of the 6-yard box, and Kravinovic connected perfectly. Well, I suppose it's been on the cards, and West Brom finally make one of these moments pay for them. Blackburn Rovers 0, West Brom 1, and it's Filip Krovinovic.
Quality from start to finish from West Bromwich Albion. Worked it out well from the back, and they were just waiting for that run from Pereira. All the Blackburn players, the defenders, were putting their arms up, hoping for an offside. He was definitely onside. He picks the ball up on the right-hand side, and as I said before, he can either go on his left foot or his right foot. He works into the byline, just a little pull back to Charlie Austin. This time, a little dink to the far stick. And Krovinovic, what an absolutely outstanding finish. Kept his cool, locked his ankle, played it underneath Christian Walton, and found the back of the net. Perfect time to score just before half-time, and I think Slaven Bilic should be absolutely over the moon that his side are going to go in at half-time 1-0 if Blackburn don't get any other opportunities.
I think you have to give Matheus Pereira a semi-assist for that.
Yeah,
with the way he started it off. But Charlie Austin, and often goal scorers can be greedy, but I think he was aware that Krovinovic had the goal at his mercy in the position he was in. It's only his third goal of the season, but it was certainly well executed, and it's Blackburn Rovers 0, West Bromwich Albion 1 on TalkSport 2. So finally a goal, and it might change the mood amongst the Rovers camp. What will it force them to do now, Mickey Gray?
Well, after watching this first 45 minutes, Samuel and Armstrong, I think they've got to play a little bit more narrower. They've got to try and help out Danny Graham and give him some support, because when the ball goes out wide to Armstrong or Samuel, well, it's always a 2v1 situation in West Bromwich Albion's favour, so it's so hard to get those balls into the area. So I think a little change in system, not too much. But then the problem you've got then is the fullbacks of West Bromwich Albion breaking forward and making 2v1s. That's how hard it is to try and work out a system to beat what's in front of you.
A little bit of confusion inside the West Brom penalty area there. Carl Bartley thought his keeper Sam Johnson should have come for the ball. It ended in Ajayi hooking it out for a throw into Blackburn Rovers. So we're down to the final few minutes of the first half at Ewood Park. West Brom lead. Blackburn Rovers trying a late rally. And here's Adarabioyo through the centre. Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 2. 2-0 lead now for Bristol City there. The Championship full of so many wonderful games as it has been all season. As Adarabioyo tries to put that into the feet of Samuel. We were talking off air before the game started about how it doesn't matter where you are in this league, Mickey Gray. Essentially, there's a story that still goes around you, even until this point of the season.
Something to play for, always, isn't there, in the Championship? And it's like that every season, Steve, isn't it? You know, you look at the... I mean, we were talking, weren't we, on air with Russ just before we kicked off. 4 or 5 teams still have the opportunity of pushing into those playoff positions, and it's the same at the bottom of the table.
Stuart Downing, free kick, yard ahead of the centre circle. Dinked in like a golf shot into the box, and opportunity didn't pay. The referee blew his whistle. It was aimed towards Danny Graham, who has been rather redundant in this first half. Armstrong's made himself more of a nuisance for the West Brom defence. I don't know whether that's an area that the manager Tony Mowbray might be considering at half-time. Options, though, limited on the bench. Sam Gallagher's there, Lewis Holtby, but definitely a much stronger bench that West Brom have got at their disposal. Hal Robson, Carnoum, Matt Phillips, Raheem Harper, Hegazi, Diangana. They seem to have the depth that would not only take them into the Premier League, but maybe give them the fighting chance. It's Costello Rankin, charged down by Pereira, ball delivered behind and sent forward by Adarabioyo. Maybe a last opportunity for Blackburn Rovers as Samuel tries to break down the right-hand side, but he slipped. Carl Bartley in behind him. Bartley harassing the ball off him, but then the referee, Mr. Gillette, awarding a Blackburn free kick from the right.
There was no way that Kyle Bartley was ever going to win that ball. You know, just stand your ground sometimes as a defender and just make him play the ball backwards. Then you get yourself back into position, readdress the situation. Samuel just getting himself on the turn there. Another opportunity here for Blackburn at the end of the half to put the ball into the area.
Had plenty of these free kicks, and they've all been taken by Stuart Downing with his left foot. The 36-year-old looking to try and help Blackburn get back level at 1-1. Oh, it's been headed from close range by Danny Graham and palmed out by the keeper Sam Johnston. And the ball in put into a perfect spot, spun across the box, and there was Danny Graham, and he was one-on-one with the whites of the eyes of Sam Johnson, and he couldn't beat him with Erda.
You talk about an opportunity just before you go in at half-time, and that is a confidence changer, no doubt about it. Hasn't had the best half, as you mentioned, Steve. Great ball in from Downing. I'll just stop because I've got another opportunity.
Costello Rankin, Armstrong can't get to the pass there, and Romain Sawyer sees it back to his keeper.
Yeah, but it was, again, super ball in from Stuart Downing. Lenihan with the first header just across the 6-yard area. Danny Graham found himself in acres.
Well, maybe two for West Brom here. Here's Pereira, lovely bit of space, finds the run of Livermore, and that's saved by the keeper. Well, would he have been wiser using Kravinovic on his left-hand side? He's gone for goal himself. And for a second time in this first half, Christian Walton has had to produce a really big stop.
How many saves is that now from Walton? I mean, absolutely outstanding. He's kept his side in it, no doubt about it. But Livermore, when he gets himself into a good position there, Pereira just playing that little pull back to him on the edge of the 18-yard box, couldn't really work it onto his left foot, had a toe punter with his right foot. He had Kravinovic outside him, but I think in that moment you've got to take the shot on. And again, another super save from the goalkeeper, Walton. Dara
O'Shea just keeps it in play, somehow wins it back off Costello Rankin, then Pereira side foot swan forward to Livermore, out to the right side of the Blackburn box. West Brom put a cross in there, dealt with by Adebayo. Blackburn break away with possession. The ball's come through towards Samuel. It's 2-on-2. He's got Armstrong on the left side. He's going to face down on Bartley. It's still with Samuel. He's gone wide, takes the shot, and it comes off the heels of Bartley and goes out for a corner. He looked rather slow with his run at the end of that, whether he was in two minds.
He never looked confident in any part of that run forward there, Dominic Samuel. He was at a 1v1 situation with Kyle Bartley. You're just thinking to yourself, right, you're the forward player, go and do a step over, drop your shoulder, get yourself a half a yard. He slowed himself down. He gave Kyle Bartley the opportunity just to stand his ground. That was pretty poor.
Queen's Park Rangers 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Corner for Blackburn Rovers, which doesn't come to anything. Pereira, though, might make something as the counter-attack builds from West Brom. It's to Grzycki. He takes on his man. Oh, and that's well dealt with by Ryan Nyambe, who could see the pace of Grzycki and was surely thinking, oh no, what have I got to deal with here?
It is. It's absolutely frightening, Grzycki, the pace that he has. But just before he had the 1v1 with Nyambe, Pereira was the one who played an outstanding outside of the foot, left foot, wide to him, and then he had that 1v1 situation. But Pereira actually kept his run going. And if Grzycki had kept his head up, he was in 1v1, and he's still going crazy with him now, Pereira.
Half-time whistle blows, and it was a rather slow first 10 minutes to the game. But boy, when it picks up pace, it was great to watch. One goal separates them at the end of the first half, and it's Filip Kravinovic who scored it, his third of the season. It was probably no more than West Brom deserved in terms of the number of chances they created, and a lot of those centred around Matthias Pereira. But Filip Kravinovic with a lovely finish to put them ahead. There have been chances for Blackburn Rovers. Danny Graham's only had one, but it was a one-on-one headed opportunity which was saved by Sam Johnston, and Adam Armstrong earlier in the game with a possibility, but that was kept out as well by West Brom. Probably on the balance of things, West Brom do deserve this, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've had the better opportunities. They've eventually got the ball in the back of the net. Kravinovic with a lovely finish after a nice move, but Charlie Austin, couple of opportunities. Pereira looks very lively. Certainly Grzycki on that left-hand side. If he had a bit more quality in the final third, we might be talking about 2 or 3.
Blackburn Rovers 0, West Brom 1.
Thank you very much, Steve. Mickey, Blackburn Rovers, good start to the half. West Brom, an even better finish.
Yeah, absolutely, Russ. I think you've hit the nail on the head there, to be honest with you. It was first 10 minutes, they looked a little bit shaky, West Bromwich Albion. Didn't really get themselves into the game. Their passing was a little bit slow and languid, where it was a Blackburn on the front foot, created that great opportunity through Adam Armstrong, and he just needed to make contact with it. It eventually went through his legs. But then after that, it was all about West Bromwich Albion getting the forward players involved in the game a lot more. Pereira certainly lively in that final 30 minutes. And when you've got the pace of Kravinovic, Grzycki, and then the goal scorer prowess of somebody like Charlie Austin up front, you're going to create chances. That's what they did. They've got themselves in front, but I actually think it should be maybe more than one.
That's settled any nerves, I would have thought, for West Brom. Did you see any nerves before they scored? Any anxiety, or were they just playing their normal game?
The way they started, Russ, I think that's the only thing I can say to you. The first 10 minutes, their passing was very slow. It was trying to play through the centre of midfield, and it was very condensed at the beginning of the game. But the more the first half went on, it stretched a little bit. As I said, they started to use their wide players a lot more than what they did very early on in that first half, and I think the quality just started to show in that final 20-30 minutes, and the chances started coming then.
I think Tony Mowbray, Mickey, probably would have thought, well, we're not going to get many chances, but when we do, we've got to make them count. And Danny Graham, could he have done better with that chance just before half-time?
The thing was, I'm going to say yes to you, Russ, because it was a great ball into the area. Lenihan was the one who headed it back across the 6-yard area. But if you look, Danny Graham's kind of drifting towards the back stick, but he's moving away from goal, and it's hard to get the leverage on a header and pace on it to try and get past the goalkeeper in that situation. Sam Johnson, it ended up just being a simple catch for him, but has to go down as a real good opportunity, no doubt about it.
All right, thank you for the moment, Mickey. Half-time, Blackburn Rovers 0, West Bromwich 1. It's their World Cup final. That's what Slaven Bilic, their manager, says. Well, so far, so good. Filip Krivinovic with a nice finish, meaning the Baggies are going in at half-time. A goal to the good coming up, a tribute to Jack Charlton ahead of a special programme at 5 o'clock. If you haven't heard the news, very sad news. Jack Charlton passed away overnight at the age of 85. And we've got your half-time classifieds coming up on Game Day Live.
Game Day exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Short on time? Don't worry, you can still get your cook on with Asda. Get 3 Asda ready meals for just £5.50, like our beef lasagna or our tomato and mozzarella panette bake. Hang up your oven gloves, we've got dinner covered. Asda. Save money, live better. Selected stores and lines subject to availability. Meals 400 grams, £2.10 each.
The team at Reconomy want to celebrate the other champions of the season, the NHS. We're saying thanks this summer with a pledge to support the UK's legendary healthcare heroes. For every new skip or container ordered in July, Reconomy will donate £5 to our dedicated NHS charity partner. Make Reconomy your waste management professionals and say thanks this summer. Terms and conditions apply. See Reconomy.com for more details. Reconomy, inspiring sustainable thinking.
Martin here runs his own building business. He's got a tool for everything. Nail gun for nails, screwdriver for screws, and QuickBooks for finances. QuickBooks makes doing his tax return easy, automatically checking for the most common errors. Martin hardly has to lift a finger. Well, maybe one.
Visit quickbooks.co.uk for details. Intuit QuickBooks.
Unpack every sizzling second of the latest Premier League action with Motty's Hot or Not on TalkSport with Google Nest. Listen to Hawksby and Jacobs every Monday afternoon from 1 as they're joined by the legendary John Motson with his pick of the weekend's pivotal performances. Who's on fire?
It's into the top corner!
And who's leaving the fans cold?
It's an own goal!
Motty's Hot or Not on TalkSport with Google Nest. In the trade, help your business grow with Google Nest Learning Thermostat. Visit g.co/nest/pro.
Daddy, do you want to play?
Play 3 up front today. I can see us scoring a truckload.
Daddy, let's play a game.
Game should be in the bag. Think I'll stick a lump on it.
Dad, please.
Please let this one come in.
Hello?
Sorry, sweetheart. I was miles away. What were you saying?
When you're there, but not there. The National Gambling Treatment Service is here to help. Search Be Gamble Aware for free confidential advice. Start to regain control after one call or chat.
Let's finish this. Today, it's Sheffield United v Chelsea in a vital 3-pointer. And with Now TV, you can watch all the action live for just $9.99. Hold on, they're checking with VAR.
That's confirmed, it's $9.99.
Unbelievable stuff. So, grab a Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. Search Now TV Sports. 18 plus, content streamed via internet. Full terms apply.
At Lidl, we're always little on price. And with Pick of the Week, we cut our prices even lower. With 6 great deals on fresh fruits and vegetables and a pick of meat and fish. And they're different every Thursday, so you can mix it up in the kitchen while saving on the shop. Save up to 30% on award-winning produce with Pick of the Week. Now that's big on quality and always little on price. Subject to availability, selected stores excludes NI.
Saturday night, live Premier League football. Brighton versus Manchester City. Coverage from 7:30. Kick-off at 8 on TalkSport.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app, and on your smart speaker. Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2.
This is Game Day. Half-time classifieds. Premier League.
Afternoon to you, this is Ross Williams. 3 minutes to 4 in the early kickoffs in the Premier League. It finished Norwich City 0, West Ham 4. Two notable things about that game. Michail Antonio got all 4 West Ham goals, and Norwich City have been relegated from the Premier League. The other early game finished Watford 2, Newcastle 1. Troy Deeney with a couple of penalties to get Watford a precious 3 points. Over on TalkSport, the champions Liverpool at home to Burnley. Half-time, it is Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Sheffield United against Chelsea is a 5:30 kickoff. You can hear that over on TalkSport, as you can Brighton against Manchester City. That kicks off at 8.
Sky Bet Championship.
In the early games in the Championship, Charlton 0, Reading 1, Derby County 1, Brentford 3. In the 3 o'clock kickoffs, these are the half-times. Barnsley 0, Wigan 0, Blackburn Rovers 0, West Brom 1. Second half, of course, is coming up for you live here on TalkSport 2 as part of Game Day. Hull City 0, Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 2, Preston North End 1, Nottingham Forest 1, and finally Queen's Park Rangers 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2. So those are your half-time classifieds. Very, very sad news today. England World Cup winner Jack Charlton has passed away at the age of 85 after a long-term battle with illness. He also, of course, managed the Republic of Ireland, and the FIA have described him as the man who changed Irish football. The world of football has been paying tribute to the former Leeds defender over on TalkSport.
Bobby could play, I couldn't, but I was bloody good at stopping other people playing. Which is as much a part of the game, actually, as actually being able to play. As long as you've got the sense, when you win the ball, to give it to somebody who can play. And that's what Bobby was, he was a player.
To be here as winners of the FA Cup has often been described as the summit of a footballer's ambition. How much greater was the triumph they enjoyed now. May we, in 1970, be represented by a team of sportsmen as good as these winners of the World Cup.
I don't think he's remembered for his savvy, his nous, his brain, his tactical knowledge, because he was so blunt and matter-of-fact about it and how he said it. And he got all his players, I mean, he trusted his players. He gave them licence to do it in a way he wanted it done. If you didn't do it, you were hauled off.
History has been made in the Giants Stadium in New Jersey. Another magnificent chapter in Jack Charlton's managerial career. The Republic of Ireland have beaten Italy for the very first time.
Just knowing Jack is an experience, and it feels like I've lost a family member, and I'd like to say on behalf of everybody, I think we'd all feel the same within the Republic of Ireland team.
We went away to the competition and we thought, when we went, a little bit worried, that we would like to bring some sort of credit back to the Republic. Makes us all just a little bit more proud to be Irish, me being now an honorary one.
Yes, and he certainly was. Jack Charlton, who passed away at the age of 85. A lot of players there over on TalkSport who played under him at club and international level, paying their own tributes. And you can hear a special hour-long show paying tribute to Jack Charlton at 5 o'clock, right after we've finished at Ewood Park. It's here on TalkSport 2. It's called Hero, Legend, Brother, Winner. Farewell, Big Jack, and that is at 5 o'clock tonight. So it's half-time at Ewood Park. Only one goal in the first half, but a very important one.
Mateus Pereira found the run, gets himself into a dangerous position, teed it up behind for Charlie Austin, who holds his head in his hands. Great vision from Mateus Pereira. And Charlie Austin, well, on numerous other times in his career he's buried that sort of opportunity, and he's just got under the ball. It's gone way too high. Here's a chance for Charlie Austin. Oh, that's a brilliant save by Walton. Adebayo played back into Charlie Austin. Gotta be for West Brom, and it is. And it's Krovinovic. And West Brom finally make one of these moments pay for them. Blackburn Rovers 0, West Brom 1.
Quality from start to finish from West Bromwich Albion.
Stuart Downing with his left foot, the 36-year-old, looking to try and help Blackburn get back level at 1-1. Oh, it's been headed from close range by Danny Graham and palmed out by the keeper Sam Johnston. Pereira, lovely bit of space, finds the run of Livermore, and that's saved by the keeper. And for a second time in this first half, Christian Walton has had to produce a really big stop.
Well, it sets it up beautifully for the second half. Blackburn Rovers with a little bit of an eye, perhaps more than ambition, on a playoff place in West Bromwich Albion. Brentford have won today, breathing down their necks. They're a goal to the good. Second half is coming up, and of course we have our special tribute to Jack Charlton, who's passed away at the age of 85. What a football man. At 5 o'clock tonight here on Talk Sport 2. Mickey Gray at the end of the game, Mickey. Excuse me, we're going to be a little bit pushed for time. A son of the Northeast yourself, how many times, if at all, did you meet Jack?
I did an after dinner with him, Russ, when I was at Sheffield Wednesday, funny enough. And he was still a character then. You could see he was still larger than life. I think more so, I became fixated with somebody like Jack because I was working with players like Jason McAteer, who fully respected somebody like Jack, and I think the stories that he used to come back to the training ground with were absolutely fantastic. And you just listen to all the players that I've seen on TV all this morning, people like Andy Townsend, our own Tony Cascarino, and people like that. He was just a passionate man who absolutely loved his football. And an incredible family. Let's not forget about that, Russ, but I think he'll be sorely missed, there's no doubt about it. But what he achieved for the Republic of Ireland was just sensational.
Yes, a football legend, Jack Charlton. We were lucky to have him as an Englishman in our World Cup winning team in the Republic of Ireland, but openly admit they were lucky to have him too. And what a job he did for Irish football. Special programme in memory of Big Jack tonight at 5 o'clock here on Talk Sport 2. So West Brom are leading at Blackburn Rovers by a goal to nil. Slaven Bilic, their manager, says it's our World Cup final. He says we've got to be more focused, determined, confident, brave and hungry than ever before to do the job. So far, so good. Second half coming up now with your commentary team, Mickey Gray and Steve Hothersall.
Thank you, Ross. Blackburn Rovers 0, West Brom 1. And here's a stat that Rovers wouldn't want to hear. The Baggies are unbeaten in the last 46 league games when they've scored first. When they score first, they tend to hang on to it. And they've only failed to score in 3 games this season. And of course, that continues today. It was on the cards. Opportunities for Charlie Austin, 3 in that first half, which he missed out on. One of which produced a brilliant save from Walton. But eventually it was Krovinovic who scored the only goal of the game. And the onus is on who now, Mickey Gray? Blackburn Rovers or West Brom?
Well, the onus is on West Bromwich Albion to stay in front if they possibly can. 45 minutes of pressure. I'm sure they're going to feel that the more that this half goes on. Blackburn Rovers, I think we've said before, Steve, I think it's probably difficult for them to actually get into those playoff positions. They'll know themselves that they need to win every match moving forward. And when you've got a team like this coming to town, it's always going to be difficult. But at least they can go out in the second half, they can relax, they can play that nice style of football that Tony Mowbray's got them playing. But I think what they've got to do if they're going to cause West Brom problems, as I said in the first half, is get Samuel a little bit closer to Danny Graham, even Adam Armstrong out on that left-hand side. They probably will make changes as the half goes on, but just be composed, try and make the game play itself, the ball running around as it possibly can, as quick as it can. And if you can do that, it makes West Bromwich Albion work that more harder.
Well, Blackburn just trying to play it out of their penalty area, but finding problems and full stops as they did. They've somehow escaped that. And Lewis Travis involved in trying to chip it over to the right-hand side for the run of Nyambe. And then Travis with a thunderous tackle in on Romain Sawyer in the middle of the park. Travis, a player who's been linked with a couple of Premier League clubs. I know you're a big fan of his.
I am indeed. I think he's very composed on the ball. And as we saw in the first half from the 2 challenges from Liverpool, he's got a very calm head on his shoulders. And there's no reason why he can't take that step up. He's a very good passer of the ball. He's very disciplined in his positions. He's played in a few. But I think that midfield area, that holding midfield area, trying to break forward when he gets the chance, I think that's the one that suits him.
Neither of the managers opting to use any of their substitution cards at half-time, so Blackburn Rovers with Christian Walton in goal, Ryan Nyambe at right-back, Darragh Lenihan and Adder Abayo the centre-halves, Joe Costello-Rankin at left-back, Bradley Johnson, Lewis Travis and Stuart Downing in midfield 3, and Dominic Samuel and Adam Armstrong supporting Danny Graham up front. That's Blackburn Rovers. For West Brom today, Sam Johnston in goal, Dara O'Shea at right back, Carl Bartley and Semi Ajayi the centre halves, Connor Townsend in the left back position. In the midfield, Romain Sawyers, Jake Livermore and Filip Kravinovic, the goal scorer. And completing the lineup, Mateus Pereira, Charlie Austin and Kamil Grosicki. We haven't got the benefit of a replay where we're currently sat, but we spoke to some of our colleagues who work for the local radio in Blackburn at half-time who said that Pereira was clearly offside for the goal. So we haven't got that benefit, but I'm sure we'll be keen to have a look at it a little bit later on. As the ball's headed into touch.
It's difficult, isn't it, Steve, from the angle that we actually find ourselves in, to watch the movement of the players when somebody's playing a through ball. It was a late run from Pereira, so it could have been offside, but as we know in the Championship, they haven't got the fortune of VAR, thankfully.
Kyle Bartley to Romain Sawyers. Sawyers over to the right-hand side, Semi Ajayi. And now through to Mateus Pereira. The £8 million buy from Sporting Lisbon. How on earth no one else saw his talent? Here's Grosicki to Pereira, who takes a shot, a goalkeeper spills, and then the follow-up shot by Kravinovic is off the post and bounces wide to the right-hand side. Back to Pereira once more. He's got an eye for goal. He hits it against the Blackburn player in front of him, Adder Abayo, and Blackburn Rovers, by the skin of their teeth, survive another West Brom onslaught.
Well, 2 great opportunities for West Bromwich Albion. I think Christian Walton, he needs a medal after this game, some of the saves that he's made. Great save from Pereira, who did everything right. It was well worked. He got it onto his left foot, little curler into the corner, super save. And when it comes back out to Kravinovic, you're just thinking, right, here we go, 2-0. And the post comes to his saviour, the goalkeeper. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Great opportunity. And Slaven Bilic, he'll be desperate for that second goal so his players can relax a little bit, but until they get that, it's game on still, Steve.
Yeah, it all still lives on a knife edge until that point. Another minute, which was a whirlwind here at Ewood Park. It's erupted after the first 10 minutes into a great game to watch. It was a slow start, and now it's full of theatre. It's Christian Walton, long ball up to Danny Graham, nearly ran all the way through for Samuel, hooked clear by Ajayi. Just outside his penalty area remains Sawyer, but he's had the ball taken from him momentarily. Carl Bartley will deal with it. Right-footed clearance over the halfway line. Grosicki looking to the referee and claiming that he was being unfairly dealt with by Ryan Nyambe, who was defending the Blackburn half. Referee not interested. Stuart Downing gives the ball away sloppily to Romain Sawyers. Now Charlie Austin finds Kravinovic on the left. There's 4 yellow and green shirts surging forward. Grosicki on the left side into the box, trying a delicate chip into that dangerous 6-yard area. Didn't break through the blue and white shirts. West Brom tried to go for it once more, and there's a free kick given on this left side. Connor Townsend held back.
Yeah, he was. Samuel just got in his way, tried to do a little give and go, a little 1-2 around the corner. Connor Townsend, Dominic Samuel just using his little bit of experience there, getting his body in the way. This is another opportunity for West Bromwich Albion, who's certainly up the ante coming out in this second 45 minutes. They want to try and get this game out the way and done and dusted. Some great opportunities. And that man Pereira standing over the ball again. We know he's got the quality.
Well, I said before, he should have a semi-assist for his involvement in the goal. Let's see if he can add another assist to his ever-growing tally, which is currently on 16. Left side of the Rovers box. swirls it in. It was an outswinger really. Comes out to Grzycki, who's chipped it back in towards the 6-yard area and picked out by Christian Walton, who's given a little bit of time. Walton perhaps will not have been busier this season when he looks back on this fixture tonight. But will he be looking back on any points gained for Blackburn, or will it be another West Brom win? If you look at the table, West Brom's goal puts them back into top spot. That contest between West Brom and Leeds for the pinnacle of the Championship has just been a great sideshow to the whole affair, hasn't it? How much does it matter to the clubs to actually win the title, Mickey?
It's important. I think picking up the trophy is absolutely huge for momentum and moving forward. But I've said this before, if you finish in those top 2 spots, you say thank you very much, let's move forward, and we'll enjoy our break. Playoffs are so difficult, as I found out myself as a player. I wouldn't want to be involved in them because it does become a lottery. You take form into them.
El pase de Iago Aspas hacia...
Look, and you find yourself playing championship football for another season.
¿Qué hacer con los amigos de Creditea? Acuérdate que ellos siempre están pendientes de ti. Por eso, si tú también te quieres crecer, tienes directamente una línea de crédito de hasta 5.000 euros para lo que tú quieras.
¿Sí? Stuck into today across the network, of course, over on TalkSport, Liverpool, Burnley, Adrian Durham's at Anfield. Ian Danter and Trevor Sinclair are bringing you the action there. A little bit later today, Sheffield United, Chelsea. That's a TalkSport exclusive, presented by Faye Carruthers, Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce will have the reins on it. There's Grzycki from the left of the Blackburn box. Down goes Charlie Austin, no foul there. 8 o'clock tonight,